I have personally lived 5 wars in Gaza Strip, and when we are in wars, there are some rules that we grew up in as children and as young men in Gaza in wars. So uh, when the war starts, there is always a reduction of food, a reduction of uh, every basic thing in life, such as electricity and everything that is necessary to live. And then there is this moment when we hear the F-16. So the F-16 warplane is a sound where we expect to die. And I, being here and remembering how it feels to be under this sound and how my family right now is there. And when this sound comes, we would usually hold our hands together and just pray to God. And we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, which is the last words that a Muslim, the good last words a Muslim can say. So each moment in Gaza and wars is like dying, dying from inside, and probably dying also, like actually dying, because it can, like the gap between you and death in Gaza is how much the missile takes to fall from the F-16 to your house. And this could happen any moment. Right now in Gaza, I personally lost my house. I lost my university. My family are displaced and they are now in a school. My father is 65, my mother is 59, and they are sleeping on the floor. And they have diseases, they have high blood pressure and other diseases. All my sisters and their families are displaced and living in such situations. And it's not somewhere to live in Gaza, especially in wars. It's not a place to live. It's not not somewhere anybody would wish to be in the war. It's really, really terrible. And just the sounds of explosions around, and like your heart sinks with every loud explosion, and you just wish, like, please, Allah, please protect us, please save us, please have this to end soon because we can't bear it anymore. And this has been the toughest aggression on Gaza since a lot of years. Since the past years, since the last aggression, this was the toughest because you see what's happening right now. And sadly, we have to explain our humanity. We have to explain over and over that our children are being murdered, our children are being killed to the people around, and it seems like it doesn't work. No, like, no ceasefire till now. And every day I post in my Instagram, I was like, ceasefire, ceasefire." Every minute a child dies there, every minute a lot of people are killed, a lot of people are displaced, a lot of homes are being destroyed, and it's getting worse and worse.
I'm sorry. I know it's an insufficient thing to say, but I'm.
I I do have many memories of war, and nearby buildings fall, like get bombed while we are nearby, and you just feel like your life ended for 1 second, and then like you find yourself alive because the bomb, when it falls, it shakes everything around you so hard to the moment that you can't even see. Like, it just shakes and shakes the building, and like you feel like you're about to die. This is how it is when the bomb falls.
How often do you get to be in touch with your family?
I have not contacted my parents since the truce, like the end of the truce. I often send messages to my brother. He would respond after 3 or 4 days, after like finding a spot to connect to the internet. And I must say, Katie, like I feel really guilty with everything I do here and think of my family. Even right now, I'm sitting on a chair. I have my bed right beside me, and just keep thinking of my family because they they don't deserve to go through this. Nobody deserves to go through this. They deserve a life.
They had a life.
Mm.
And this is the thing that I want people to know, because I only went to Gaza once in my life. I spent a week there 10 years ago in 2013. And uh, it was before the coup in Egypt, when it was still a little bit easier to get into Gaza. And I was able to go to Gaza in May of 2013. And what struck me about Gaza was how lively and vibrant a society it is. It's a vibrant society. It's a beautiful part of Palestine. It has a beautiful coast. It has a beautiful society. Um, it's a tight knit community. I mean, you would go in that week. I traveled from Gaza City to Rafah, which is all the way in the south, for different events and different things. And you know, people know each other in Gaza. It's a very tight knit community, and I met so many people. Mahmoud, you would have been very young in 2013, so I wouldn't have
Yes.
met you. But I met a lot of university students, people who are university students at that time. And the one thing that I remember most, and that they told me, they said, "This is what you want to know. What we want you to know." They said, "The siege is difficult, you know, but our problem is not the privations that come from the siege. It's not the lack of the basic materials and things like that. And there were times when the siege was tighter, and there are times when Israel eased it a little bit." They said the real thing we suffer from is the isolation, the fact that it was virtually impossible to get in and out. That's why it was such a miracle when we were able to have Refaat and Yusuf come to the United States. I think Rawan was in the UK at the time. Um, and the level of ambition of young people in Gaza, you know, their hunger to communicate with the world, to be connected with the world, to be part of the world, and that's why, you know, it's like, I'll tell you this. I'm going to tell you some inside secrets of the not, you know, the Electronic Intifada. We struggle to find writers in the West Bank who can write in English. I mean, people do write for us in Arabic sometimes and we translate it, but generally we don't have the resources to do that routinely. So we like to look for writers who can write in English, and we have a hard time finding them. In Gaza, we don't have a hard time finding writers. And I, I don't know, Mahmoud, what do you think? Is that entirely due to Rifat? It's a lot, in large part, due to Rifat.
Yeah, I swear to God, like everyone who writes well has been trained by Dr. Refaat. We call
Yeah.
him like me, we call him the legend because he was a legend. He teach all of us. Like he was involved in many creative writings and writings program. He also like by the way taught me poetry and Shakespeare, and I can't even begin to express how wonderful he was in poetry and the way he explained and taught. And as I always said, he always influenced me and taught me, even by the way he walked sometimes, because he's an amazing person. And yeah, like he contributed to a lot of writers, and he introduced us and helped us to connect to Electronic Intifada, We Are Not Numbers, and other outlets. He wanted us to be successful, a part of being our teacher. He was like a father and like a friend. So in the war, he would ask about me and tell me like, did you publish anything? And if I said no, he's like, why didn't you publish anything? And encourages me to write and to actually send publications and write and make my voice there, out there. Um, I really, really miss Dr. Refaat, and the video you displaced a minutes ago reminded me of his lectures, where I used to watch them actually for educating myself, and I was actually enjoying them because in other lectures I might have not been as active. Like I wanted to just get done and do my homework, but with Dr. Rifat's lectures, it was always interesting and fun to watch and very valuable. He had so much knowledge that could fill the world. He, Allah yarhamu, Dr. Rifat. Allah yarhamu. And speaking of how beautiful Gaza is, Ali, I was telling my friends sorry, that whenever I got bored in Gaza, I would just go downstairs. I would find my uncle sitting on the street talking. The falafel seller is just outside the corner. I could call my friends, go eat falafel, and just walk in the streets and go to someone's house, spend the night. And unfortunately, I lost many of my friends, including my best friend Muhammad, who we were always spending time in his house and uh, doing barbecue, eating together. And I want to say Muhammad also would have loved to be here as well, talking about Dr. Rifat, because Dr. Rifat was really pushing Muhammad to be better. And Allah yarhamhum. May
Muhammad,
they both meet in heaven. Yeah.
Muhammad also wrote for the Electronic Intifada. He wrote one article, and according to your friend Khalid, he was working on another article for us, but Khalid told me the other day how excited Muhammad was that he was uh, preparing another article. And Muhammad Hamor was one of four contributors to the Electronic Intifada who have been murdered by Israel in this genocide.